There is so much history that we just don't know, and we have been systematically kept away from. In our history books.
That's a fact that most Black people are aware of, but others may not realize. Tuesday Night is the president and CEO of San Antonio for Growth on the East Side, or SAGE. She says the importance of knowing Black history all comes down to representation.
A lot of the mainstream media, a lot of movies, art, no matter what it can be, you often don't see yourself portrayed in those.
But the San Antonio African American Community Archive System, or SACAM, is working to change that in our city.
We have to be mindful of the fact that this country is made up of many different ethnicities. And the country is great because of the contributions of so many different types of people.
Another end of the spectrum is only hearing about the same Black historical icons.
As far as in the education system, the only thing that was taught was, we learned about Harriet Tubman, we learned about Frederick Douglass, we learned about Martin Luther King. Beyond that, everything was obscure.
Mario Salas remembers a student speaking up about this problem during a State Board of Education meeting.
And I'm paraphrasing him, but this is what he said. As much as I love Martin Luther King, I'm tired of only hearing about him. We have many heroes, but yet they're not being discussed.
It's a problem that affects everyone.
If you're only talking about Martin Luther King as if there was no one else, then you're doing a disservice to the community.
Most people know the history behind a handful of popular Black icons. George Washington Carver, Black scientist known for his inventions like peanut butter, Madam C.J. Walker, first female self-made millionaire, and of course, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., civil rights activist. But it's been more than 400 years since Black slaves came to America, and not enough of the stories from the past 4 centuries have been told.
A lot of that history, unless you hear about it from family members or it's not depicted in our school books.
And when students do learn about Black history, oftentimes it is sometimes in a negative light or further stereotypes placed on Black people.
It talked to you about enslavement, and it talked to you about the fact that Black people are typically good at sports. Well, there's a lot more to African American and Hispanic American history than just those two things.
So why are so many people taught so little about the history of Black people's contributions to society? Salas says it's due to a rigged education system.
So you get a population of people of color, women included, who don't get to hear about their heroes. And when that takes place, you're creating a system that doesn't allow for them to experience their own dignity. You're teaching it from a white supremacist point of view or a Eurocentric point of view, and that's really problematic.
It's not just problematic for Black people, it also affects other communities of color.
I've had students in various classes that never heard of Cesar Chavez.
You have to see representation. You have to see somebody that looks like you doing something. And if not, then you'll end up becoming one of the first, which we welcome too.